Hello everyone and welcome back to Fliks Picks, your streamlined Overwatch League analysis and predictions channel. This video will be covering Stage 4, Week 2, Day 2 of the Overwatch League. Let's not mess around and get right into it. Our first game sees the London Spitfire against the San Francisco Shock. This series is Fliks' series to Overwatch for the day, basically what I think will be the most entertaining series of the day. These teams will be fighting it out on Blizzard World, Hanamura, Oasis, and Dorado. As we can see here, Blizzard World is a bit average for the Spitfire, only winning once, whilst a slightly positive result for the Shock, going 4-3. Similar records for both teams on Hanamura, 4-2 and 4-1 respectively. Oasis again not looking great for London, who have dropped the map 9 times, while again the Shock have a slightly positive record. And finally, Dorado, where the Spitfire double their wins 6-3 and the Shock performs slightly below par. Should the tiebreaker on Nepal be necessary, the map is dead even for both teams, who effectively have the same number of wins and losses. Looking at each team's stats for Stage 4, London make an average of 4.49 kills and die 6.66 times, giving them a team average kill-death ratio this stage at -2.17. The San Francisco Shock average 6.43 kills per game and die 6.65 times in a game, giving them a team average kill-death ratio for Stage 4 at -0.22. Looking at the history with these teams, London has dominated in the past, winning all 4 of their encounters. Taking a further look at each team's form, London have won 4 of their last 9, not even winning a series in the first week of Stage 4. San Francisco, on the other hand, have won 6 of their last 9, winning 1 series in Week 1 of Stage 4 against the Seoul Dynasty. Externally speaking, the San Francisco Shock have had a new addition to their team in the form of the Boston Uprising's old coach Krusty. You could see the impact he had on the team last week, as they seemed more focused than they have been in the past. And although they ran negative in the way of a KD average last week, it is a better KD average than in their overall stats. While they did lose to the LA Gladiators, they are a team who are looking to be a finalist contender, so you can't really blame their defeat there. They did win comfortably against the Dynasty, but I think that reflects more on Seoul's part than it does on the Shock. Nonetheless, we are seeing improvements from them. London, on the other hand, seemed to forget to show up last week. They are winless and were decimated by their opponents Houston and New York Excelsior. While these are highly skilled and currently on fire teams, I was expecting London, who are the Stage 1 champions, to shine in this meta and in this stage. To see them underperform so badly does not give me a lot of hope that they will do well this stage. As a result, I'm calling in favour of the San Francisco Shock 70-30. The community is calling the opposite, 67-33 to the Spitfire. My thought here is that the maps are favouring the Shock, and the Shock just simply played much better than the Spitfire last week. Hanamura could go either way, and Oasis on paper should go to London, but I'm expecting the Shock to win 3-1. Game 2 of the day pits the LA Gladiators against the Florida Mayhem. We will see them fight it out on Kings Row, Hanamura, Lijiang Tower, and Dorado. Kings Row favours the Gladiators 4-1, with the Mayhem running 2-3. Hanamura is evenly paced, with both teams running a negative deficit of 1, with a cheeky tie in there by the Mayhem. Lijiang Tower is pretty dominated by the Gladiators, 7-2, with the Mayhem achieving a 2-3. And finally, Dorado, where the teams are dead even, 3 wins and 4 losses each. Should we be seeing Nepal, it is another landslide favour to the Gladiators, who have a 9-1 record compared to the Mayhem's 4-7 record. Each team's stats for Stage 4 read as so. The LA Gladiators average per game 7.98 kills and 6.11 deaths, giving them a team average kill-death ratio this stage at 1.87. Florida average 4.94 kills per game and 8.49 deaths per game, giving them a team average kill-death ratio this stage of -3.55. In the past when these teams have met, the Gladiators have come away with the win all 3 times, only ever dropping 1 map to the Mayhem. Looking at each team's last 9 games, we can see the Gladiators winning 5 of their last 9, winning both of their series last week, while the Mayhem have won 2 of their last 9 and are currently on a 5-game losing streak. Externally, there isn't much to discuss with these 2 teams. The biggest curveball in this lineup is that both of these teams are playing the day before this match against very, very tough opponents. The Mayhem are up against the Valiant, and the Gladiators are up against Houston. My thought is, and this is if I was the Mayhem's coach, that the game against the Valiant is a more realistic game to win than this game. So my thought is that the Mayhem will be preparing heavily for their first game of the week to try and get a W on the board, so they'll have similar difficulties in this game like they did last week against Philly. At the same token, I'm expecting the Gladiators to be preparing mostly for their Houston match. That being said, I think the individual skill and synergy on the Gladiators is more developed than the Mayhem, so I don't think they'll have too much trouble winning this game coming in cold. With all of that in mind, I'm with the community on this one. I'm giving it to the Gladiators 80-20. If Sire Player goes big on Watchpoint Gibraltar, then maybe Florida can take that map, and they could grab another sneaky tie on Hanamura, but I'm expecting to see a 4-0 in this series. Our final game of the day has the Philadelphia Fusion versus the Shanghai Dragons. They will be fighting it out on Blizzard World, Horizon Lunar Colony, Oasis, and Watchpoint Gibraltar. Blizzard World is pretty average for both teams, Philly winning 4-2 and Shanghai losing 2-3. Horizon Lunar Colony has played the same for both teams, 2 wins and 4 losses. Oasis nets a negative result for both teams, but it's much more crippling for Shanghai, who have dropped the map 8 times, whereas Philly has an even 6-7. And finally, Watchpoint Gibraltar. Both of these teams have lost this map 4 times, however, Philly has won 3 times compared to Shanghai's once. If the Game 5 on Nepal plays out, then it will be a worry for the Dragons, who have lost this map 10 times while Philly has tied the map 6-6. The stats for these teams at this stage show the Fusion averaging 6.27 kills per game and dying 5.84 times per game, giving them a team average kill-death ratio of 0.43. Shanghai in Stage 4 are averaging 4.01 kills and 5.59 deaths, giving them a team average KD ratio of negative 1.58. When these two teams have met before, it has been Philly who has walked away with the win 3-0, but that hasn't stopped the Dragons from making them work for it, taking them to a Game 5 twice. In regards to their last 9 matches, we can see that Philly has won 5, while the Dragons have lost all 9. Due to the fact that it's Stage 4, there is again no external factors to consider with these two teams. Philadelphia hit the ground running last week with 2 dominant performances against what was the undefeated Boston Uprising and the Florida Mayhem, even solidifying the title as the first team to have a perfect map. They did not die once on their Oasis match against the Mayhem. Everything about their performance screams ready for playoffs. The Dragons, on the other hand, had a great first map against the Fuel, and then frustrated everyone in the room with their poor compositional choices. It did look like the team was clicking more, and Damon had some excellent carry moments, but they were making such simple mistakes that a pro team just shouldn't be making. All the casters were criticising their hero selections, and their refusal to change made them their own worst nightmare, and ultimately, it was they who cost themselves their games last week. I believe they are eager to win and are making steps in the right direction, but after last week, I don't know if they will get a W this season. That being said, I think it's highly doubtful that the Fusion will lose. My prediction is 95-5, and the community is calling a similar 89-11. The map pool doesn't look great for either team, so history could repeat itself and we could see a Game 5. But the way the Fusion played last week, and them knowing that the finals are on the line, I think they'll work really hard to get all 4 maps under their belt. So to quickly recap Day 2, Fliks picks are the Shock, the Gladiators, and the Fusion. And that is it for Day 2, guys. Thank you everyone for watching. Comment below and let me know what you're thinking for the day. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed the content, and hit the subscribe button to stay up to date as the videos get released. Enjoy the games, and I'll see you next time.
They have to get out through this doorway now. Gladiators, and well, they are just going to manage it. That bubble perfectly placed, eliminating some of the angles there for Logix, making it a little bit more frustrating for him. We will trade tanks right out the gates though, and Manathan with the self-destruct over the point, looking to do the hurt. Just barely going to be able to survive.